Hello, my name is Kevin Tell. I'm a sixth grade science teacher here at Sanford on Team Motivation. I think at a personal level, a big part of the dream was kind of moving beyond seeing color lines, to being viewed not as just a black male, but as a person with character, with content, with a lot of strengths. So I try to live my life as best as I can, not trying to enforce stereotypes, trying to be my own person, but be a respectful community member. In terms of the classroom, I think a lot of what I do is holding high expectations for all students, no matter kind of their backgrounds, and that everyone can achieve, everyone can do well, and not to try to pick students in one hole or another. So I decided right after college, I went to Carleton, which is a pretty intense place. I came from an inner city background where there was a lot of diversity, a lot of people like me, and by the time I got to Carleton, I noticed that there weren't a whole lot, especially males of color. And when we got there, a lot of them who wanted to be doctors, wanted to be lawyers, couldn't handle the coursework because they weren't properly prepared. They had the drive, but they didn't have the background. So I think after realizing that working in the lab wasn't for me, I kind of moved that dream forward and said, you know what, I want to help students prepare so that by the time they get to college, they aren't going to be hampered by their prior experiences. They can really achieve what they want. For me, education is super important because it opens the world of possibilities. The more educated you are, the more skills you have, the more opportunities you have to kind of choose your path in life and achieve that inner peace, that happiness that everyone kind of looks for in life.
Okay, hello, my name is Chelsea McKinney. I think I play a role by simply, existing and helping out in my community, starting locally, and helping other people whenever they need help. Actually, that's a good question. So it really depends on what type of educational choices they've decided and what type of advice they're looking for. If it's like financial advice to further their education, or if it's just like a regular thing, like should I just take this free class? You know, I always think I would always be there for them to help them as they would help me. I thought about becoming the movement when I would hold summer jobs working as a camp counselor. And I thought camp is just such short-term thing, and I wanted an opportunity to work more with kids throughout the year, and school was the next choice for that. And so I thought, why not bring what I've learned at summer camp to school? So education matters to me because it's been one of the very few things in my life that has allowed me to advance my career and advance in life and to improve myself. And it's always been, for the most part, free and readily available. So I think we should still continue to discuss racial equality now more than ever with the Black Lives Matter movement and Trans Lives Matter movement and all of these movements that are going on. It's important to keep discussing these things with children and adults to make sure that in the next generation things don't happen again, things don't repeat. I think of when Trayvon Martin was killed, and I had a cousin who was the exact same age as him, and it was hard to explain to him why those things would happen. As far as he knew in his life, and his very relatively new life, this is the first time that he has ever experienced something like that. And it was hard to explain, well, the Georgia Zimmerman just didn't feel safe. But for a kid who's grown up in a home with two parents and comes from a very good background and is very, I don't want to say sheltered, but protected, it's hard to tell him that somebody else in the world isn't feeling safe or didn't feel safe. So I got my degree at Earlham College in Richmond, Indiana. Should I say my major? My major was comparative languages and linguistics with a focus on the two languages, Arabic and Spanish. For the most part, I would have to say yes. I was lucky enough to attend a college on a full scholarship, and I was lucky enough to go to a school where the professors cared about my education and making sure I had everything I needed. I know that for a lot of like teens, when they graduate from high school and go to college, it's a hard transition because it's a different type of education for them. But for that most part, I had help with the transition, and college was it was like it had challenges, but it was still fun. So I think the main challenge I had was the the grading system, and then just trying to figure out the professors' different teaching styles, how some would just teach with a PowerPoint, and then others it would be a discussion-led class, or sometimes the professors just really wouldn't teach at all and they would give you book work, and so you had to kind of navigate how to get the information that you need from that class while also trying to figure out what the professor wants from you, and then figure out how you're gonna get what you're gonna get from the class so you can learn more. For the most part, yeah. I know that a lot of other teachers have had 5-10 years more experience than me, so that's the one thing that makes us different. But I haven't felt like a teacher would come up to me and say, "Hey, you aren't experienced, so that's why you don't belong. You don't belong here." You know, like they've always been like, "Well, this is how we do things, so I can learn," and then they always like recognize me as another colleague, like I recognize them as another.
Hi, my name is Jerry Lewis. I've been at Sanford Middle School now for about 5 months. I plan on keeping Martin Luther King's dream alive, about keeping doing what I'm supposed to be doing, staying focused, doing the right thing.
Hi, my name is Deontay Mashad. I'm one of the lead avid tutors at Sanford Middle School. The role that I believe that I play as far as keeping Martin Luther King's dream alive is just trying to keep people united, as far as, you know, no matter what color or race or religion you come from, just trying to get people with the same cause to better themselves. Being part of working in public schools is something that kind of fell into my lap. I always really just wanted to work with kids, and this was really the best choice that I could reach multiple kids. You know, my goal was to try to instill a work ethic and a passion for learning to the kids. Not so much, you know, always school material, but just a passion to want to learn something and trying to instill a certain drive in kids, a work ethic. So that's probably my main goal.
Hi, my name is Anne Michelle Alexis. I've been at Sanford going on 6 years now. I've been in Minneapolis since 1994, coming from Chicago. I'm an office assistant here at Sanford Middle School. I try to be calm. I try to keep them calm, peaceful around them, and cool, and just so that they can get that vibe and be able to calm down and think through what the situation is that they're having, the problems they're having for the day, and just to hopefully relax the rest of the day and be able to concentrate and do the work that they're supposed to do here as students, which is their job during this time period.
So my name is Jacques Latejos, and I've been at Sanford about 5 years now. I'm an ELL teacher, so I served a lot of students who are multilingual. I also do co-teaching, so right now I'm a teacher for everyone as well. Also, I love soccer, so I do some coaching, soccer coaching after school. Now regarding Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream, the way I keep it going for me, it's just remembering that you know, there's a struggle in life, and you know, based on that, I just want to bring my energy to that struggle, and as well as to that community, because when we think struggle, we think also community and how community solves problems. And something's telling me that you know, community solves problems with people. So connecting with other people, connecting with people from different backgrounds. I met a lot of different kind of culture here in the US. So I'm part of this fabric now. Now the other piece is Martin Luther King connect with African diaspora, so African American, African in Africa, African in Europe. Growing up outside of the United States, I've heard of Martin Luther King before, so for me that's another part of connecting with that dream is to come full circle with a universal hero for the world. It's not just the American history with Martin Luther King. He connects with the rest of the world.
My name is Inyolua Esther Adebaki. I am an ESL teacher here at Sanford Middle School. It is my second year. What I do is I introduce him to my ELLs. Most of my ELLs never heard of him. When it comes to me, and it's perfect as a social studies teacher, I can plug it into my curriculum. It's more impactful when the celebration is going on, so they understand the reason why you're not going to be here this particular day because of this particular man, and I just insert that. So that's what I do. What I do, especially within the ESL community, is to discuss text written by writers of African descent. For example, talking about the purple hibiscus, or whenever I hear about a concert going on by somebody that is from a different country, I tell my coworkers about it. I decided about it. It was a long process for me. The initial process started when Hurricane Katrina happened, and I went to New Orleans to help with the Hurricane Katrina cleanup. And for the first time in my nearly 10 years I've been in the country, I actually came face to face with somebody who's experienced racism. And for me, growing up in Sucker Pines, Minnesota, it was not something I experienced. I was very sheltered, and I decided then and there that I will one day like to teach in a public school where I can open young minds' ideas, not so much to poison their mind, but more to let them know that it is something that exists and they can be part of ways to end prejudice and other form of injustice because of race. Whew. Education is super important to me because my father actually instilled the desire to educate myself. And over the years, my mother would always say, improve yourself, get more education. So the reason why it's important to me is because I know that the reason I'm able to be as impactful as I am is because I took every opportunity that I was given to educate myself. I think that it is super important and it should just continue. It doesn't always have to be sit down, let's talk about it. It's every teachable woman that comes. As I said earlier, I grew up in Sucker Pines, Minnesota, surrounded by a lot of whites and just very amazing, loving tiny little village town, and I didn't really know much about racism. And if I came to Sanford Middle School and there was never any discussion about it, I would continue to be in that little bubble, thinking, oh, racism is something that's, whatever. But the more we discuss about it, the more I realize that I've not really done much thinking and more much talking about it. So I think it's something that should continue because you never know who needs to learn more. And I know I need to learn more. I guess my biggest thing is I'm very glad that I'm in a school that is willing to discuss what's happening and is willing to have uncomfortable conversations, because I come from a background that's a little different from most, and I would never have questioned my knowledge on what racism is all about if someone didn't say, do you really understand what's going on, and do you discuss it? I'm like, no, I don't really talk about it. So this is wonderful. I'm glad to bring my own perspective and also be able to see other perspective that I didn't know existed when I came to Sanford Middle School. I got my initial degree, my undergrad degree from UW-Madison in Wisconsin. And then I got my teaching license from Hamline University, which is where I'm also finishing my master's right now. I think that question is kind of odd for me, partly because I believe I am part of the equal education opportunity, but at the same time, I know that not everyone is a part of it. I'm not sure I'm answering that question correctly. Do I feel like I'm part of it? Yes. Do I feel like I'm part of a district that wants that? Yes. And I hope that answers the question because that's all I got.
My name is Jabari Brown, and I work at Sanford Middle. Just having all students, no matter what race and gender, to work together and to be equal and just treat each other with respect. I'd just bring up things that I remember growing up as a student that was very positive. Since I was old enough to understand as a kid growing up, I just wanted to make a difference. Education matters because it is a major key to success, and without a degree, I feel like you won't get too far in life, so I'm very big on education and getting your degree. I feel like whenever it's appropriate time to bring it up with students, you can, but I wouldn't want to force the issue too much on them, just whenever it's the right time. Sometimes some students would see stuff on the news, and I just feel like they really don't get it. Like, they just listen to whatever they see on the news. Sometimes I would just explain to them why is this going on and stuff like that, and don't believe everything you see on the news. I got my Associate of Arts degree from Wasabi Range Community College, and now I'm working on my elementary teaching degree at University of Wisconsin-Superior. I feel I'm a part of the equal education opportunity because I have been given a fair chance to fulfill my dreams of becoming a teacher. Work hard, then finish school. Don't give up.
Hello, my name is Kevin Baker, and I'm a special education assistant here at Sanford Middle School. The role I play is to be talking to our youth about keeping positive, doing positive choices, no bullying, no race issues, just treating everyone equally. When I first started working in public schools about 9-10 years ago, when our youth were really struggling with race issues, bullying issues, and just getting along, period. Education means the world to me because of the job factors with our youth and understanding what's going on in America nowadays. And just being educated is just a good thing to do.